Your news of the day for July 5th, 2022. I think I'm going to start a series on this actually because I got a lot of things up there in my tab list, and I usually say I'll just do a video on this. I'm just going to put them all into one big video, and I think it'll be interesting. So today we're going to talk about China looking at deflation. We're going to talk about how the only way the U.S. can beat inflation. We're going to talk about the chaos that's coming for the U.K. and the EU as a whole. And then we're going to talk a little about how steel is made because I think it's important. All right, so let's just start with the top here. So here is China. China on track for contagious crash within weeks. Threat of deflation for the whole world, says this chick. Chinese economy to spew deflation over the world, says expert. And she's Ann Stevenson Yang. Okay, Ann Stevenson Yang. That's interesting. That's Stevenson Yang combined. It's an interesting combination there. But all right, cool. She has warned the world to brace for deflation as Chinese economy is about to crash. Now, I will tell you, I've heard this 1,000 times this Sunday. I've heard about Iran. Michael Ledeen has promoted that about Iran for years. I'll say Michael Chang. I don't think that's the Chinese implosion for years. Others have obviously written about the U.S. implosion for years. So no one knows. I mean, so, of course, if it doesn't happen, people forget this lady. And if it does happen, say, yeah, she told us. But let's see what she says. As the Xi's communist regime is still pushing for zero COVID policy and inflation gallops around the world, China has seen its exports crumble, driving good prices down. After 2 years of rapid growth in 2020 and 2021, its export market has experienced a dangerous decline. My base case for China is I think the Chinese economy is really going to go through a crash. Spew deflation to the rest of the world, she says. All right. Lockdowns, she's talking about, while assets and prices decrease over time, buyers' purchasing power increases. This economic phenomenon goes contrary to inflation, which has the opposite effect, is increasing prices and reducing purchasing power. Though it may seem like good news, deflation is a sign of an impending recession. When deflation happens, consumers tend to hold off on purchasing power and hope that prices will keep falling, well, to protect their jobs too. The cycle creates higher unemployment, lower prices, and even less spending. As a result, deflation leads to more deflation. Yeah. When asked why it'll happen, she says because China is responsible for a huge amount of commodity consumption, and as their demand declines, the commodity prices decline, and that has an international effect. All right. So there you go. That's interesting. And then we go to here. Oil billionaire blasts Biden's gas price blame game. Say that 5 times fast. Says only one thing will fix inflation. Here's an oil billionaire from 2014, even though this article is dateline just a couple of days ago, actually, June 27th. There's only one solution for inflation, which is boosting production of crude. No, I don't disagree with that for sure. But I mean, no self-interest there. He made the remarks in an interview with Fox News. Let's see. All right. The guy the oil billionaire reacted to Biden's remarks by defending gas station owners, arguing they've been making the same margin they've been making forever. Exactly. It's kind of like saying, bring down the prices at your grocery stores. And it's just, everyone knows that's idiotic. Well, maybe not everyone. Maybe there are some people out there who are that dumb who don't realize how inflation works or the profit margin for businesses. And they're probably all working the Biden administration, actually. While the margin gas station owners fluctuates several cents one way or the other, Castamitis said it's ridiculous to put it on us. We're not the ones that created the problem. The price of gasoline has nearly doubled since Sniffy Joe took office, and the president is blaming the oil industry greed, a lack of refining capacity, blaming everybody but himself. Of course, some experts have argued that the Biden administration anti-fossil fuel policies have discouraged companies from investing in refining, which is my man Ross McKittrick of climate change, ClimateGate fame. You should look at my man Ross. It's not the war in Ukraine. It's really domestically caused constraint on the supply side, 100%. No one's willing to invest in expanding refinery capacity because the outlook is basically we're going to shut you down. That's what they said. Obama said, because of my plan, electricity prices will naturally go higher. That's what Obama said. Sniffy Joe said to some lady on some campaign stop, listen here, sweetie, or something like that. I guarantee we'll end fossil fuels. That's what he said. And it's just, we've seen refineries close. We've seen units come down. We've seen refineries being repurposed to become biorefineries. And we live in a world where the policy of the U.S. government is to reduce demand for the products the refineries produce. Yep. No denying Biden has some blame. You think? Okay, so let's keep reading here. So then I was reading this, and I came across this right here. I was watching my man Earl Grey. Financial Times. Several industries in Britain may stop work due to gas shortages. Did you hear that? Several industries in Britain may stop work due to gas shortages. What are those industries? Oh, the greatest likelihood of suspension exists among manufacturers of ceramics, glass, and steel. Well, we don't need steel. We can recycle it. Energy-intensive industries in the UK may be forced to stop work in the winter in the event of a shortage of gas in the European market. As the Financial Times reported on the website on Monday evening, business representatives will notify the government of the possibility on Wednesday. It's crazy. According to the publication, ceramics, glass, and steel makers using melting furnaces and kilns are mostly at risk. They fear the closure of production because the authorities are going to limit energy consumption by industry. Rationing. Shocking. As the publication points out, in the UK, unlike a number of other European countries, the authorities have not yet urged the population to reduce electricity consumption to fight against those Ruskies. Tata Steel, I think is one owned by India, said that any sudden or significant shortage of natural gas or electricity could affect its operations in the U.S. David Dalton, a spokesman for the British Gas Industry Association, said industrialists would like to get a more honest answer from Sniffy Boris Johnson, because he's a clown. I just call him Sniffy Boris because he's a freaking ass clown, just like Sniffy Joe. Okay. So the industry needs to assess the risk in advance as furnaces can be severely damaged in the event of emergency shutdown. The UK only receives 4% of its gas from the Russian Federation, and it independently provides almost half of its own through deposits in the North Sea. But it depends on Norway and Qatar. But where those things get there? Well, both countries could stop supplies to the UK if they themselves face a power emergency. Most of all, London fears that against the backdrop of a sharp increase in gas demand in the EU, deliveries from Norway could be halved. Yeah. So that's good times there. Good times. All right, then we're going to go into, right, I saw it here. The Bank of England also sounded the alarm in its latest financial stability assessment published this morning, warning that the outlook for the economy in England has deteriorated materially and is very uncertain. Given this, we expect households to become more stretched in the coming months. They will also be more vulnerable to further shocks. That's fantastic. On the geopolitical front, Russia next week will shut down Nord Stream 1, and I think didn't Germany just close down Nord Stream 2? The Nord Stream 1 pipeline for summer maintenance, but many regulators are worried it might not be turned back on. I hate to say it, man, but if I was Russia, I'd say, sorry, Charlie, you don't like our gas? See ya. Many companies are buckling under the cost of soaring prices for natural gas imports, and crunches could trigger a collapse in the Eurozone market. Yeah. It's crazy, man. And now we're putting price caps on Russian natural gas and oil. It's freaking nuts. All right, so let's just take a gander at how steel is made. All right, this is from Texas Iron and Metal. Oh, that sounds fantastic. Texas Iron and Metal. What if they got merch? I'd love to wear a Texas Iron and Metal friggin' shirt. That'd be fantastic. If you look around, you'll see a lot of steel. Next to plastic and paper is one of the most common materials that used every day. From your car to your kitchen stove to the door lock, steel is everywhere. Think about what it takes to make steel itself. How is steel made? Before we even get to today's steel making process, we're not going to get into the history, but let's go basic. All right, electric. Oh, let me just go. How is steel made in an electric arc furnace? And more. Let's see. I wanted to kind of show you something here. I didn't read this one in advance, but I did want to read. Wikipedia is run by a bunch of loony lefts. I still love Wikipedia. It's fantastic. All right. So remember, steel is an alloy made of iron with typically a few tenths of a percent of carbon to improve its strength and fracture resistance compared to other forms of iron. All right. So let's just go to how it's made. So we have to mine iron. How do we do that? With machines that run on batteries, solar panels, and wind turbines. We have to mine iron, which is found in the Earth's crust in the form of an ore, usually an iron oxide. Iron is extracted from iron ore by removing the oxygen through its combination with a preferred chemical partner, such as carbon, which is then lost to the atmosphere as carbon dioxide. Oh my goodness, CO2, a plant's natural fertilizer. This process, known as smelting, was first applied to metals with lower melting points, such as tin, which melts at 482 degrees Fahrenheit, and copper, which melts at 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, and the combination bronze, which is a melting point of almost 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Cast iron melts at 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, it's crazy. All these temperatures could be reached with ancient methods since the Bronze Age. Since the oxidation rate of iron increases rapidly beyond 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit, it's important that smelting take place in a low oxygen environment. All right, let's keep reading, though. Since the 17th century, the first step in European steel production has been the smelting of iron ore into pig iron in a blast furnace. Originally employing charcoal, modern methods use coke, which has proven more economical. Okay, but keep reading here because this is where it's going to get interesting. Hold on. All right, let me move my face out of the way. Right here. Oh, look at that. It's just, oh, man. All right, so let's see here. We're going to read. The modern era of steel making began with the introduction of Bessemer's process in 1855. The raw material for which was pig iron. His method let him produce steel in large quantities cheaply. Thus, mild steel came to be used for most purposes in which wrought iron was formerly used. There's another method, was an improvement to the Bessemer process, made by lining the converter with a basic material to remove phosphorus. All right. These methods of steel production were rendered obsolete by a process called basic oxygen steelmaking in 1952. Basic oxygen steelmaking is superior to previous methods because the oxygen pumped in the furnace limited impurities, primarily nitrogen. All right. Today, electric arc furnaces are a common method of reprocessing scrap metal to create new steel. They can be used for converting pig iron to steel, but they use a lot of electrical energy. About 440 kilowatt hours per metric ton. Did you hear that, my friends? 440 kilowatt hours per metric ton. And thus are generally only economical when there's a plentiful supply of cheap electricity, which there is. I mean, there isn't now. It's crazy. All right, so anyway, it takes a lot of heat to make steel. So remember, 440 kilowatt hours per each metric ton. How much does the United States produce each year? 88 million tons. So 440 kilowatt hours, 440 times 88. I don't even know what that is. I'm not sure. Is that 3 billion? I don't even know what that would be. It's well beyond my ability to do this here. So I think 88 million, that's 100,000. That's 88 million right there. 88 million. Yeah, there you go. Times 440. Yeah, see, it gives me 3.872. It looks like to the 10th power. So I don't even know what that is. So I don't know if it's 3.8 billion kilowatt hours. I'm not sure. That's a lot of electricity you use right there. So what do? Well, you use fossil fuels. I mean, that's coal. Any kind of heating mechanism that's more efficient. Anyway, so there you go. So we don't have steel. We're in a world of hurt. Now, thankfully, you can recycle a lot of steel, which is good. And apparently, once it's been made, you can use the electricity to recycle it a hell of a lot easier. It seems like. I'm not an expert on this, just haven't done some reading on that. But you still got to make the damn thing to begin with, pardon my French. All right, anything else I want to talk about here? Well, I guess that's it. So just prepare for future shocks, household shocks. And if you guys, I like the news of the day thing because I just read all this stuff and a lot of times it just kind of gets put to the side. But if you guys see some articles you want me to look at, just send them away to me, man. I'll try to incorporate my news of the day items. All right. Love to hear your thoughts. We'll see you